Take a look at my undefeated Floowandereeze list. Since updating it, I've had a 100% win rate and went undefeated at the last two locals I went to. So we're on a 12-game win streak at the time of recording. We're playing 3 copies of Urbina, our only 1-card starter. We're playing 3 copies of Eaglin, the best starter if we have access to map. It allows us to chain block, our most important effect. 2 copies of Stree. When we use Stree and Eaglin as opposed to Urbina and Eaglin, it lets us chain block for our entire turn. And we're playing 1 Takan, 3 map, 3 advent, and 1 copy of Goldsark. Goldsark's better than terraforming because it lets us not play into Droll. It can't be ashed, it can't be ghost ogred. And if we draw map and Goldsark, Goldsark functions as an extender. If we draw map and terraforming, those are just redundant cards. We're playing 3 copies of Duality and 3 Prosperity. I have 1 Extravagance in place of the 3rd right now. If we resolve Prosperity and then Duality, we're going through 25% of our deck. So that's just insane. We're playing 3 Shifter. The main difference with my deck is I'm playing 11 hand traps instead of just 3. So I have the 3 Imperm, the 2 Ash, the 2 Ogre, and a DD Crow. DD Crow isn't the best hand trap, but it's searchable and is actually a consistency booster with Advent. Ghost Ogre conflicts with Shifter, but it's good enough this format that it's worth the trade-off. Ash and Imperm are as good as they ever have been. There's a notion that they're not good, but that's coming from the idea that you have to have 2 to like completely shut down decks like the 10E Synchro deck. But Ash Imperm is as good as it ever has been, and I don't want to play Dark Ruler in the main because that's dead during 50% of games. You know, I don't want to draw cards going first. That should be my side deck. 1 Ryza, 2 M-Pen, and Apex Avian. 2nd M-Pen does way more. It opens up so many doors that 1 doesn't. Because I play a 2nd M-Pen, I am much more likely to be able to recycle my Dreaming Town before my 2nd turn. And you might be going, what does the 2nd M-Pen have to do with that? When I have the 2nd M-Pen, it allows me to resolve all 4 Little Bird effects on my opponent's turn as opposed to just 2 and generate twice as much value as if I was just running 1 M-Pen. And people say, oh, the 2nd M-Pen is recyclable. Okay, yeah, but I'm bringing out the 2nd on my opponent's turn when I already have 1 on field, allowing me to use all 4 Little Bird effects, getting twice the value. People don't use Avian enough, so Dreaming Town Avian is almost always better than going into Ryza, because if I go Apex Avian, banish Dreaming Town, effective Dreaming Town, on their normal summon, that'll leave them with 1 set card, and I have an Omni Negate to deal with whatever follow-up they're going to have, as opposed to just going Ryza, spinning back their normal summon. I'm setting their normal summon and putting an Omni Negate on the field, which in most situations is better. So people are going into Ryza too much and should be going into Apex Avian more often. The last 3 cards are Barrier Statue, Dreaming Town, and Book of Moon. I'm only playing 1 book just because of the ratios. A 2nd book would be the first thing I'd do. And I'd love to have 3, but I'd rather have 11 hand traps. Dreaming Town at 1 is plenty. 9 times out of 10, this is in my hand at the start of my 2nd turn. You don't need to play 2 of these. And Barrier Statue at 1 is plenty. That's the main deck. That's the 40 cards. The side deck, we're playing 3 Twin Twister. It's essential this format. It's great against Flender. It's great against Brain Kids. And it's good against Striker. It's good against Eldritch. You need to be playing it. And once, in mid-game, even by turn 2, we're going to be having Little Birds in hand that we can discard and not think twice about. So the discard effect is really not a big issue. 2 Solemn Judgment, mostly to counter out cards like Twin Twister. So after siding going first, Judgment's always going to be there unless we're in a weird time situation. 3 Anti-Spell. I'm playing this in place of Harpy's Featherstorm. Harpy's Featherstorm helps you win games you should already be winning. Anti-Spell Fragrance helps you win games you otherwise wouldn't have won. If you brick and open Anti-Spell, it gives you something to slow them down. If you brick and open Harpy's Featherstorm, unless you have a Eaglin or it's a can, you're not going to be able to use the Harpy's Featherstorm. So this is doing something on its own, and it solves a problem the deck has, whereas Harpy's Featherstorm just helps you win games you're going to win anyway. Anti-Spell helps you in matchups like Striker, and it is fantastic against the format in general. And 3 Dark Lord on the side, and going 2nd against combo decks, this is great. Many times, siding in 3 Dark Ruler is all I need to do. I do take out the 2nd M-Pen going 2nd. Evenly matched is a bit questionable because Lancia is going in a lot of the times. Lancia really isn't as good as most people think against Flunder. But anyway, so citing this in is a bit questionable with Lancia being in the format, but it's done a lot of good work for me. This is something I could see taking out for something like a hand trap like Nibiru or Token Collector instead. But this has done well for me. Dark really evenly matched leaves them with just a Brave token against the Brave decks. I am playing the Dark Simorgh. It's good enough against Eldritch. And the other thing is with the anti-spell, if we Dark Simorgh anti-spell Sky Striker, that's just better than Imperial Order. They can't set spells and they can't activate them without setting them. So that just means they can't use spells. Neospatian Hummingbird is just there for time. He's an effect that lets you gain 500 life points for every card in your opponent's hand. We're not playing Unexplored Winds. Similar to Harpy's Featherstorm, Unexplored Winds raises the ceiling. It helps you win games you otherwise would be winning. If you're already tributing summoning big birds, you're in a good spot. You don't need to play Unexplored Winds. The one reason I would like to play it is that it's an out to Mystic Mine. So that's the one reason I would like to have it, but you're not going to win any games because you have Unexplored Winds and you're attributing their cards. You're already going to be okay in those games. I'm not playing Winds, and I don't think you need to either. As far as the extra deck goes, I have a couple of Charmers and Anima in place of where I would usually play like Access Code. These are hardly essential. I've never gone into Anima, but he's a nice option to have. I'm playing 2 Downard, and this is just part of our Zeus package. So we're playing, these are my quote-unquote Zeus makers: Princess Sprite, 2 Nightingale, and a Kikinagachi Fucho. So Sylvan Princess Sprite is just a way to get in for more damage if they don't have any monsters on field, but we're usually using Assembled Nightingale to get in to make our Zeus. But this is just an extra 1,000 damage if they have nothing on field and we're making Zeus. Kikinagachi Fucho, sometimes you need him to make Zeus, rarely, but I've used him once or twice. It lets you stall for a turn and be kind of a crooked cook for a turn. And then 3 Zeus. I like the 3. I've actually had 3 come up, so I'm sticking with 3. So there's this notion that the extra deck doesn't matter in Floowandereeze, and I understand where that's coming from, but there's a lot we could do, and I'm not running Winter Cherries, but I think that is a pretty viable option. Towers are a big issue for the deck. So I'm playing this package. I've done it once, this entire format. Invoked Dogmatica just isn't running around very much, but summoning a Mechaba on an invoked player on their turn just feels too nice not to throw that in there just in case it comes up. If I felt Access Code added enough that it'd be worth playing, I'd pick one up. And I think it would be nice if you own it to run Access Code, but that comes up so infrequently. I do think that the Zeus package, people should be going into Zeus way more often than they are on Flunder. It's our best out to zombie world right now. And there, even times when you have the opportunity to go into like your Flunder engine, it's often better to just go into Zeus. And there was a game at OTS Championship I was at a few weeks back where I had to do 5,000 damage in 30 seconds. And I, summoned the Zeus, passed turn with like 20 seconds left. They couldn't do anything. They passed back. I summoned I think it was a Dark Simorgh. I was up against Eldritch, attacked with Dark Simorgh and Zeus for a game. And it was just a matter of, I could summon Zeus faster than I could go through my Flunder combo. So that's why I went into Zeus there. But there are lots of other reasons why you might want to go into Zeus, even if you have your Flunder stuff as an option. That's the deck. Again, I've had a 100% win rate ever since I switched to this list. And I think that the lack of Unexplored Winds will get some people kind of, oh, this is just a joke. He's just had some dumb luck with this. But I've never lost the mirror, so I'm not citing cards for the mirror because I don't have an issue with that. There's a lot of people that think they understand the mirror, but they really don't. And, they'll not summon a monster when they're supposed to and then try to summon it like as the change past that chain link and leave themselves in a situation like, oh, nope, that's not going to happen. At like a regional or something, you better bet I'm not going to let you summon out of sequence when you should have done that when your effect was resolving. And, going second, going first, I haven't lost the mirror. Guys, I've played like 3K games of Floowandereeze, and I'm telling you, you don't need Unexplored Winds. You don't want to be playing, I think Callby is great, but again, we already have 4 cards we practice from hand traps. We can chain block so easily, and I don't think Callby is necessary. Against Droll, okay, that's great and things. Maybe you want to the side after siding. I could see playing, Callby or maybe an additional Book or Moon or 2, but and maybe even cross out, but you don't need it in the main deck.